What if I told you that fixing just a few small things in the design phase could completely transform the look of your kitchen? No one wants to spend 50 to 100 grand on their kitchen only to discover that there were some simple things they could have avoided that really impacted the look of their space. So in this video, I'm going to show you what these mistakes are, what to do instead to add beauty and value to your kitchen, and how you can fix some of these mistakes even if you've already made them. And the good news is, it won't cost you a fortune. One of the complaints I hear from homeowners about their kitchens is they look builder grade. Generally, a builder grade kitchen is designed and installed with the least amount of time and money possible. This leads to the use of stock cabinets, which in and of itself doesn't make the kitchen look cheap. It's the particular kind of stock cabinet that can pose the problem. You can shop at places like IKEA, big box stores, or even online retailers and find cabinet styles that look anything but cheap. The style I think you should be avoiding are cabinets with half overlay doors. This means that the door does not cover the whole cabinet frame. This is very common in stock cabinets, but also appears in custom jobs. It's a dated look, and unless designed very intentionally, can look kind of cheap. What you should be doing is looking for full overlay or inset cabinets. Full overlay will be the easiest option to find in either stock or custom retailers. Full overlay doors are very common, and we've seen them for years on frameless cabinets. In Canada, we often refer to them as European-style cabinets, as the style originated in Europe, likely Italy. With the invention of modern soft-close hinges that can mount to cabinet face frames, it's now completely possible to add full overlay doors to most existing cabinets. And if you're looking for an upgrade but are not wanting to do a full gut job on your kitchen, this is a much less expensive solution and is even DIY friendly. Inset by far looks the nicest and is the most custom. It'll also be harder to find under a certain budget in most cases. Inset means that the cabinet door is inside the frame. This is a more custom solution with a higher price tag, but it will give you a very high-end, modern-looking, trendy kitchen. This is harder to do as a retrofit, but not impossible for the skilled homeowner who is willing to tackle such a project. By just fixing this one mistake alone, you can easily increase the value and look of your kitchen 100-fold, or at least 10-fold. Now, you may like the half overlay doors that are in your kitchen and may totally disagree with me that it's a mistake, and that's okay. But this next one, I will not back down from. My wife has an older iPhone 11, and every time she goes to take a picture, a little message pops up saying there isn't enough storage. It always happens in the most inconvenient time when the thing you're trying to take a picture of is only going to be there for a few short seconds. It drives her bananas. She's frantically trying to delete other pictures on the spot, deciding which pictures are okay to delete, and meanwhile, the moment that she wanted the picture of is gone. What's this have to do with my cheap-looking kitchen, Mark? Many kitchens are just like that old iPhone. They just don't have enough storage. It's not that they couldn't have storage. My iPhone has lots of storage. The lack of storage in this case isn't what makes the kitchen look cheap, but it's specifically the lack of drawers. When I see a newly renovated kitchen with no drawer banks, I shake my head. If you've ever seen my rants on kitchens in MLS listings, you'll know what I mean. I truly think that this is a mistake to go through the whole kitchen process, ending up with a very beautiful kitchen, but not including any drawers. It's like buying an iPhone with 32 gigs of storage. Stop it. It's expensive to add drawers. You're right. I'm not saying that you have to have all drawers everywhere, but at the very least in any kitchen there should be at least a 3-drawer bank that is wider and a 4-drawer bank that is narrower. Drawers can be added after the fact to any kitchen with a little bit of skill. So my suggestion is to fix this mistake as soon as you can. You may find that adding drawers might be expensive because you need new drawer fronts for most of them. Plus, it can be tricky to match existing cabinets. The next best thing is to add pullouts to all these cabinets, and that can be done without changing the doors in some cases. Fixing this issue at the same time that you fix mistake number 1 is a mega bonus move to really upscale the look and function of your kitchen. If you're in the design phase, pay attention to every cabinet and how it will be used. And when in doubt, a drawer bank is the best go-to cabinet. The next mistake is easily avoidable for those of us with 8-foot ceilings, but it does apply to 9 and 10-foot ceilings to a lesser degree. Many homeowners have this going on, and it rarely ever looks great. That's right, not finishing your cabinets to the ceiling is a very dated look, and it should only be attempted with certain design styles. Some might argue that finishing cabinets to the ceiling can make the kitchen look closed in, but I disagree. Not only does this mistake look builder grade, it creates an awkward space above the cabinets which often gets cluttered with failed attempts at interior design. Plus, it's harder to clean. It's not doing anything for your kitchen. Now don't get me wrong, I understand that there is a cost to taking cabinets to the ceiling. More material means more money, and there may be other areas in your kitchen that would be more deserving of those dollars in regards to the overall impact in function and efficiency. If there's no way around this, you can do a few things. Build a modern soffit or bulkhead that matches the cabinet depth and carries the eye to the ceiling. Or remove all the stuff you can't reach or clean and leave that space empty. Maybe some LED strips for some evening ambient light. However, if you can, when you are designing your kitchen, be sure to bring those cabinets all the way up. You may think that it's a waste of space because it's so high. The truth is, whether the cabinets go to the ceiling or not, the space is still wasted and hard to access, so it might as well look nice and look custom. Plus, it's more usable when the cabinet is finished to the ceiling. And it gives you options down the road for accessories like pull-down wall units. Some of you are thinking, just get rid of the wall cabinets altogether. But that is a conversation for another time. One element that can plummet your kitchen into the cheap zone happens all the time, and it's easy to avoid. This happens a lot too, and it bothers me particularly because I've made this mistake myself. Totally ruins your credibility as a designer. I had to learn the hard way, but I also had the luxury of practicing on many kitchens. You don't. You have one shot at making your kitchen turn out the way you dreamed it would. The other part of this that makes it even worse is that by the time you discover the problem, you're trying to move into the new kitchen, and it's a huge inconvenience to fix after the fact. The culprit is almost always due to poor planning. When your refrigerator sticks out like a sore thumb, it not only signals that someone didn't plan very well, but it also looks really, really bad. The fix to this is so easy in the design phase, and it doesn't always require a counter-depth fridge or any special custom solution. And you can see that this is completely avoidable, right? If you're planning a kitchen reno, this is one area that is so easy to address. So make sure to talk with your designer about your options. But before you do anything, measure the fridge and double check the installation specs so you don't get stung with an expensive fridge in a cheap-looking installation. A proper fitting fridge absolutely makes your kitchen look custom. There are many ways to add a touch of flair and personality to your kitchen. When it comes to interior design choices, it's pretty much unlimited. There are areas in our kitchens that have huge visual impacts on the overall aesthetic of our space. Your backsplash is this available vertical surface staring at you like a lost puppy, begging for you to give it more than a few scraps. You have the opportunity to make this look amazing or completely mess it up. While getting this wrong can be a big mistake, I think the bigger mistake is not doing anything and leaving it as bare painted walls. Oftentimes we do this with the intention of adding backsplash later, but later never comes. My favorite preference has changed over time. I used to and still do like subway tiles. Many of you prefer a more patterned or mosaic look, or Zalige tiles are very popular. My new favorite, of course, is the matching slab backsplash. This is a very modern and beautiful look. If you currently do not have anything on your backsplash, it's a fairly easy fix. I suggest getting some insight from an interior designer to solidify your choices and make sure that you finish your kitchen. Don't miss out on 20 years of kitchen design experience delivered weekly to your inbox. There's a link in the description below. While I get the fact that many people love this next item, it must be included on the list. It's in the appliance category, and if you've heard me say this before, get ready because I'm going to say it again. Over-the-range microwaves are not doing anything for the look of your kitchen. They're just not. Now, I will say there have been improvements in the design and overall visual impact that these units have, but as a rule, I generally do not think these are a great idea. That being said, if you do need one due to space constraints, by all means go for it. Like I mentioned, some people love them, but they just don't give off the high-end look that a proper vent hood does. And I'm not trying to be snobby here. If you love them, that's great, but just don't think that they're always the best solution. Their capture area stinks, and the new sleek design is even higher off the cooking surface, and they rarely get vented properly, which means they circulate back into the room. In the design phase, at least look at what your options are for microwaves and ventilation to see if you can find a solution that looks great and functions the way you want it. And if you end up going the OTR route, please get it vented outside. No, it doesn't add to the look or function, but at least it gets the excess moisture out of the home and away from potential damage it can cause to your cabinets or yourself. No one will argue with me that lighting your kitchen properly is a must. Extra detail should be taken to understand the best way to light your space, and I'm shocked at what I see in newly constructed homes when it comes to lighting your kitchen. On the list should be under cabinet lights that provide task lighting to your work surface. And one way to make this look horrible is after the fact plug in under cabinet lights where there's wires hanging everywhere. Yes, having the light is way better than not having it, but tidy up those cords. And if you're renovating and have the opportunity to do so, hardwire your cabinet lights to a dimmer switch so that you can have ultimate illumination control. This will completely elevate the look of your kitchen and add needed function all at the same time. I'm guilty of after the fact lighting too. It looks horrible. I had cords going everywhere and taped underneath with scotch tape to the cabinets. It's just brutal. Now the next one is something that we kitchen designers rarely ever talk about. I've mentioned this a few times in some of my videos, but this item is something we all have and can go a long way into making our kitchens look cheesy or way more classy. What's worse is that this item can actually look really nice but be cheap because of the quality. And there's nothing worse than cheap quality and cheap looking. That's the worst combination. You use your faucet a lot, so investing in a brand that makes a quality product is well worth the initial investment. Now that doesn't save you from having something that looks cheap, but at least it will last. So you could still end up with a cheap looking faucet that lasts for a long time. How do you know the difference between a good quality or a bad quality faucet? You don't. So the thing to do is call a plumber. They usually know the brands that you should be looking for that are better quality. Now this is my opinion, but I think that the commercial style over-the-top high arc faucet have had their day. It's time to move on to something a little more sophisticated, whatever that means. Probably the easiest thing to fix in the kitchen as well. I was starting to get stuck coming up with items for this video, so I decided to pull out my secret weapon and ask my wife. And here's what she said. Oh, if you want to make your kitchen look cheap, add those curtains to the bottom of cabinets. Now, if you've been paying attention to the curtain kitchen trend, the curtain base cabinet is a hot topic, and that's why I love the answer she gave. It doesn't matter what the latest trend is, it's not going to add any value to your space if you don't like it. My issue with curtains is that they tend to cover up basic base cabinets, hiding just a shelf. A base cabinet with only a shelf is a functional no-no, unless it is very intentional. Otherwise, drawers or pullouts are way more suitable. Curtains add more friction to the use of those accessories. When designed right with the appropriate design style, the curtain can add a visual unique element to your kitchen, but you should proceed with caution because it can also look like you're trying too hard. Nothing screams cheap kitchen like a poorly planned layout, and you can avoid all of these poor kitchen choices and still end up with a kitchen that does not function the way you want it to. Don't worry, I have a solution. You won't find it anywhere else on the internet except this video. I hope to see you over there.